Hello and welcome. Jane Miller here of Jane Miller Associates. I want to introduce you to some ideas that were put together by Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher and facilitated by me that I think you're going to like. And if you really let yourself get into this, it could change you and the bottom line of your company like night and day. Now, this is a quick overview with just a baker's dozen of slides, and it won't take you much time, but will provide the awareness that can catapult your results. You see, when people in a company become more productive, the increase in profit goes right to the bottom line. Now, think about that. All the extra expense is looked after, the overhead is looked after. As the individuals raise the bar and become more productive, that means greater profit for the company, and it goes right to the bottom line. The program that I'm about to share with you is Thinking into Results. It's a program that's designed to not only increase profit, but to make life more meaningful for all the individuals in the company, because that's really what a company is all about. You see, you and I are programmed with an understanding, or we're not. But we're programmed both genetically and environmentally. Now, Bob Proctor has been teaching these concepts for over 50 years now, and his wisdom came through studying a lineage of great teachers, beginning with Andrew Carnegie, who passed it along to Napoleon Hill. Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich, passed it to Earl Nightingale, and Earl Nightingale then passed the torch of wisdom to Bob. Bob passed this on to his facilitators, including me, and I am honored to pass it along to you. Now, when Bob put this program together to teach it, he put it together in a very organized and coherent manner. And he began to teach it to companies, one being Prudential of America back in the early 70s. Well, their production went up hundreds of millions of dollars. Hundreds of millions. It's all on record. The top people in the company were shocked. They were happy, but they were shocked. They were sending in psychologists to find out just what was going on. What Bob was really doing was just teaching the people to do what they already knew how to do. You see, one of the things we know is how to do a better job, but we're just not doing it. There are two things a person must know to improve their performance, to win. And if you look at this, you'll say, well, this is pretty obvious. They have to know where they are, and they have to know where they're going. And when things aren't happening the way we want the first place, we should look is at our results. The current results will tell the story. You see, if it's so simple and so obvious, why are there so many people stuck? Well, they take a look at their results, and they keep getting the same result. And they try to change, but they're still getting the same result. Look, if you have someone who comes to work late, they probably do it frequently. And another person shows up early. They probably do that frequently. So we say, I know where the problem is. They have no goals. They have no direction, no reason to grow. But we have found that that's not really true. People may not have goals in writing, and they may not be too articulate about them, but everybody wants something. That just comes from the essence of who we are. Now, awareness is the beginning. We can go right through our educational system and learn very little about who we are, but we're all programmed. We're programmed genetically, and that's why we look like our relatives, and we're programmed environmentally. Now, this programming shows up as paradigms. Paradigms literally control our lives. Paradigms can show up like a brick wall on the way to a goal. They can cause people to reach a certain level and stop. We know how to do better, but we stop. Why? It's the paradigm, the programming. A salesperson who is programmed to be seen and not heard will have a horrible time approaching new prospects, for example. An associate out in the warehouse who is programmed to not make waves may never share ideas that would increase productivity. Our paradigms control everything. Think of some of the people in your company. You've taught them how to do something, but they're not doing it, and you see them continually making the same mistakes. Why are they doing that? Well, they really don't know, and they don't even know that they don't know. As we get into this, things will really start to move. Paradigms shape our logic. They shape our time, our effectiveness, and so on. A paradigm is a fixed concept in our mind. It's a fixed belief system. And a company has a culture, its own belief system, its own paradigms. And as the paradigm of the corporation shifts, the whole company changes. Now, the mind is the greatest power in all creation. I think most of us agree with that. But when we're talking about paradigms, we're talking about the mind. Let's get all the minds to change. But how? Well, what we need to understand if we're going to change the paradigm, that it's through the use of our intellectual faculties, our thinking mind. These are such phenomenal tools that we all have. We have perception, the will, imagination, memory, intuition, and reason. You and I have the ability to think, to create an image. We then impress that image upon the subjective mind, the subconscious mind. And then we'll act on that and change the end result. I want you to stop and think of what might happen if everyone in the company really understood this. I'll tell you one thing that would happen. They'd have a lot more fun. They wouldn't work anywhere near as hard, and they would produce much better results. There'd be more cohesiveness, more team effort. They'd be involved in a creative adventure. Competition is set aside, and cooperation would rule. Well, that's what we really want to do. So is it as easy as 21 days to a new habit? Well, we could bull our way through with behavior, but usually that doesn't stick. There are only two known ways to change a paradigm. One is an emotional impact that very rarely happens in a positive direction, although it could. An emotional impact may be when, for example, a person loses a loved one and boom, just like that, their life changes. The other way is through repetition of an idea. This is what I've done to reach my goals. It was the repetition of new ideas. So here I am reading and studying the same book that Bob Proctor did since 1961. I was listening to the same recordings. Now, actually, I found out that my father, who is gone now, was well read in Carnegie and Charlie Jones. And he was a great leader in his company. So now I was changing my paradigms, and I was substituting the ideas that I've been raised with and taught in school, both genetically and environmentally, and substituting those with the ideas that Nightingale recorded, Napoleon Hill wrote, and now my successful clients do the same. The Thinking into Results program includes 12 powerful lessons that will catapult your team's success, both personally and professionally. Now, if you know me, you know my energetic and magnetic style, and I'm teamed up with two of the top intellects, Sandy Gallagher, a top corporate exec, and Bob Proctor, who teaches this program in the recordings and the video. Now, Bob's been playing with this information since 1961, and he shares stories from all over the world. He and Sandy have worked all over the world. It's awesome. Take a brief look here at all the powerful topics that are part of the Thinking into Results program. Things like setting and achieving worthy goals, understanding the knowing-doing gap, using your mind to get the results you want, how to stay on track no matter the circumstance, creating an environment that you and the team want, how to identify and avoid those landmines that will sabotage success, and so on. So, are you ready? I'd like to sit down and speak with you about what we could do in your company. Not what's been done at Acme Chemical or Prudential of America. I'd like to talk with you about your company. We'll dig into specifics, and you'll be quite pleased because it gets results, and the results will really please you. I've been studying this and doing this for about the last 15 years now, and I think it's obvious that I love it. I absolutely love it. And I think it is a shame that most people go from cradle to the casket, never finding out who they are. They tiptoe through life just to get to the end. And our educational system doesn't give them this information. So let's take everything you've learned and really supercharge it. And just like that, you'll see the change. So here's the ask. Let's take the next step. Take a moment to pick up your phone and send me a text. And I'll send you back a link where we can set up a time to chat. It will be the best investment of time you've made in a while, I'll guarantee it. Because at Jane Miller Associates, we help you to achieve more, work less, and celebrate often. This is Jane Miller. Thank you, and I look forward to connecting with you.